If Europeans would have never found out about ayahuasca, Western medicine as we know it would not exist. And this is what they don't tell you. I mean, we literally would have never discovered antidepressants if it weren't for this ancient Amazonian jungle technology. And this whole story's crazy. Let's rewind to the 1850s where the botanist Richard Spruce and his buddy Alfred Russel Wallace were rummaging through the Amazon. Somewhere upriver on the Rio Negro, they discovered this hallucinogenic brew being made, and to their observation, the main intoxicant was this massive pile of vine. Richard Spruce had never seen this vine before, so he logged it and named it Banisteria caapi. And then years later, he's traveling through Ecuador and sees the same exact brew being made. And at the time, he was unaware of how ayahuasca actually works because Western medicine was unaware of monoaminoxidase inhibition, which is how ayahuasca functions. The chacruna, or whatever DMT-containing plant that tribe is using, becomes active through the monoaminoxidase inhibition properties of the ayahuasca vine, which again, Western medicine was not aware of this process. Which brings us to the 1920s in Germany, where there's this psychopharmacological revolution happening, and Louis Lewin and the boys start getting interested in this compound called harmine, which they thought only existed in the ayahuasca vine. So in 1927, they isolated the active compound and named it telepethine, based on the group telepathy experiences that were observed by Richard Spruce and the boys 80 years earlier. And it wasn't until 30 years later, in 1957, that researchers were looking at this and realized that telepethine was the same compound as harmaline, which is found in the Syrian rue Pagamen harmala. And it was at this exact same time in the 1950s that the very first antidepressants were coming onto the market, all functioning on the technology of monoaminoxidase inhibition. The very first one was called iproniazid, and a short time later there was a whole catalog of monoaminoxidase inhibition based antidepressants for the people to use. And if you Google this, they will say that it was a serendipitous discovery that monoaminoxidase inhibition increased mood and gave the individual energy, when the natives in South America have been utilizing this technology for thousands of years prior. And you gotta remember, DMT is a neurotransmitter in the human body, so it all functions very, very similarly. And despite this and all of the other cases like this, scientists still have the nerve to call this stuff folk medicine.